Good morning/afternoon/evening. We live in a world where we are constantly surrounded by voices. From social media feeds to conversations with friends and family, there's always someone who wants to know more about your life. But here's the truth we need to face. Not everyone deserves to hear your story. You see, your personal life is not just a collection of events or stories to be shared at will. Your thoughts, dreams, fears, and victories, they are precious. They're not for public consumption. And when we let too many people into that sacred space, we risk losing the very essence of who we are. Guarding your inner world is about recognizing that your thoughts, emotions, and experiences are deeply personal and not for everyone to access. Your inner world shapes who you are and the person you're becoming. It's the place where your dreams are born, where your fears are faced, and where your most intimate reflections take place. Yet so often, we allow others into this sacred space without thinking about the consequences. When we share too much with others, especially those who don't truly understand or value us, we risk losing ourselves in their perspectives, judgments, or expectations. Every time we let someone in, we're essentially giving them a piece of our peace, our clarity, our sense of self. And over time, that starts to add up. The more we give away, the less of ourselves we have left. The more we allow external voices to influence us, the more disconnected we become from the inner voice that is meant to guide us. Guarding your inner world means learning to be selective about who gets to hear your story. It doesn't mean isolating yourself or rejecting others, but rather being wise about where you invest your energy and trust. Not everyone is worthy of entering the deepest parts of your heart. Some people are only meant to witness a part of your life, and that's okay. Your heart, mind, and spirit are too valuable to be handed over to anyone who isn't capable of holding them with care and respect. Your thoughts, your emotions, your struggles, those are your treasures. And when shared too freely, they can be misinterpreted, used against you, or even twisted in ways you never intended. Guarding your inner world helps you protect your peace and keeps you rooted in your own truth, not swayed by the noise of others. It allows you to maintain your strength and focus, knowing that your most precious experiences and reflections are held sacred. The power of discretion lies in the ability to choose carefully what you share and with whom you share it. It's not about keeping secrets or hiding your true self. It's about understanding that not everything needs to be exposed for the world to see. Discretion is about wisdom, about knowing when to speak and when to remain silent, and more importantly, understanding the value of keeping certain parts of your life private. In a world where oversharing is often celebrated, discretion becomes an act of strength. When we make the choice to hold back certain aspects of our lives, we're not just protecting ourselves, we're also respecting the sacredness of our own experiences. By choosing to be discerning with our words and actions, we preserve the integrity of our personal world. We don't let others' perceptions dictate our sense of self, because we recognize that there's power in keeping things close to the chest. Having discretion means knowing that some things are not meant for public consumption. Your fears, your vulnerabilities, your hopes, they don't need to be constantly put on display for validation. There is a strength in saying, I don't need to explain myself to everyone, or I don't need to share every detail of my life to feel seen. By exercising discretion, we protect our emotional energy ensuring that only those who truly understand and value us are invited into our space. Discretion also helps us maintain clarity in a world full of noise. When we share too much with too many people, we risk losing touch with our own thoughts and desires. The more we open ourselves up to others' judgments, the more we dilute our own sense of purpose. Discretion, however, keeps our vision clear. It allows us to discern what aligns with our values and what doesn't. By protecting what we share, we keep ourselves rooted in our own truth, free from the influence of external opinions. The dangers of oversharing are far-reaching and often more damaging than we realize. In today's hyper-syneted world, where social media encourages constant updates and people feel compelled to share their every thought, moment, or feeling, it can become easy to forget the consequences of putting too much of ourselves out there. Oversharing isn't just about revealing too much information. It's about surrendering too much of our emotional and mental space to others, often in ways that can erode our sense of self. When we overshare, we lose control of how our story is told. What may seem like a harmless piece of information to you can be misconstrued, misinterpreted, or even manipulated by others. The more you open up, the more you risk your words and experiences being taken out of context, twisted into something they were never meant to be. The vulnerability that comes with oversharing can sometimes lead to exposure in places you never intended, making it harder to protect the most intimate parts of yourself. Oversharing can also leave us vulnerable to judgment and criticism. The more you share, the more people have the ability to form opinions about you based on incomplete or one-sided information. These judgments can affect your reputation, your relationships, and even your self-worth. Instead of being seen as a person with complexity and depth, you might be reduced to a version of yourself that others think they understand, even when they don't. Furthermore, when we overshare, we often do so seeking validation or connection. We want others to understand us, to feel our pain, or to celebrate our successes. But this desire for external validation can lead us to compromise our emotional well-being. When we rely on others' reactions to feel whole, we become more susceptible to emotional manipulation, misunderstanding, or disappointment when people don't respond the way we expect. On a deeper level, oversharing can weaken our ability to trust ourselves. If we're constantly seeking advice, validation, or feedback from others, we can lose confidence in our own instincts and decisions. The more we allow external voices to dominate our lives, the harder it becomes to hear our inner voice, the one that knows what is truly right for us. Finally, oversharing can exhaust us emotionally. When we give too much of ourselves away, it can leave us feeling drained and exposed. The emotional toll of oversharing often goes unnoticed until we find ourselves overwhelmed by the weight of too many opinions, too much advice, or too many expectations placed on us by others. This emotional depletion can affect not only our mental health, but also our physical well-being, leading to burnout, stress, and anxiety. The need for healthy boundaries is crucial in maintaining emotional and mental well-being. Boundaries aren't walls that isolate us from others. Rather, they are invisible lines that help define where we end and where others begin. They establish the limits of what we will and will not accept. And they protect us from being overextended, manipulated, or overwhelmed. Without boundaries, we risk losing ourselves in the demands and expectations of others, and our sense of peace and control can quickly slip away. Healthy boundaries allow us to honor our own needs, desires, and values without feeling guilty. They give us the strength to say no when we need to walk away from situations that drain us, and to prioritize our emotional and mental health. By having clear boundaries, we can be present with others without sacrificing ourselves. It's a way of showing love and respect for ourselves and for others by acknowledging that we all have our own limits. Boundaries also help to build healthier relationships. When we communicate our needs clearly, others are more likely to respect them, leading to mutual understanding and respect. Without boundaries, relationships can easily become unbalanced. People may take more than they give, or they may impose their own needs and desires onto us without consideration for our well-being. Healthy boundaries ensure that we are not only giving to others, but also protecting our own energy and maintaining a healthy dynamic in our relationships. Establishing boundaries can be uncomfortable at first, especially if we've grown used to being overly accommodating or people-pleasing. But the discomfort is temporary. Over time, setting and maintaining boundaries helps us develop stronger self-respect and teaches others how to treat us. It empowers us to make decisions based on what's best for us, rather than what's expected of us. Boundaries also protect us from emotional exhaustion and burnout. Constantly being available to others, responding to every demand, or opening ourselves up without limits can lead to emotional depletion. When we neglect our boundaries, we risk sacrificing our own needs, desires, and even our health. Boundaries are a form of self-care, reminding us that our well-being is just as important as the needs of those around us. Self-reflection over external validation is one of the most powerful choices we can make in today's world. We live in an age where we are constantly bombarded by opinions, expectations, and judgments from others. Whether through social media, personal relationships, or professional environments, we are taught that our worth is determined by how others see us. We are conditioned to seek approval, recognition, and validation from outside sources, often forgetting the importance of looking inward to understand who we truly are. Self-reflection is the practice of turning our attention inward, of taking the time to pause, to think deeply about our thoughts, actions, and motivations. It is a way of seeking truth within ourselves, of evaluating our lives and making decisions based on our own values and beliefs, rather than the external pressures we face. When we prioritize self-reflection over external validation, we begin to cultivate a deeper understanding of ourselves, a connection to our true desires, and the courage to pursue our goals without relying on the approval of others. At the heart of self-reflection is the idea that we are the experts of our own lives. No one else knows us better than we know ourselves, and no one else can dictate what is best for us. When we rely on external validation, we are essentially handing over the control of our lives to others. We may find ourselves constantly seeking praise, approval, or attention, and when that validation is not forthcoming, we can feel lost, inadequate, or unsure of ourselves. This constant need for external affirmation can lead to a cycle of self-doubt, insecurity, and even anxiety, as we wait for others to define our worth. On the other hand, when we choose self-reflection over external validation, we take ownership of our own journey. We stop waiting for others to tell us who we are, and instead we look inward to find clarity. This self-awareness allows us to make decisions based on our own desires and aspirations, rather than basing our choices on what others think or expect. Self-reflection helps us understand our strengths and weaknesses, our values and passions, and the things that bring us true fulfillment. It empowers us to live authentically and align our actions with our purpose. The process of self-reflection also fosters a deep sense of self-respect. When we validate ourselves from within, we stop measuring our worth based on external factors. We no longer need to seek constant reassurance from others because we have learned to trust our own judgment and to celebrate our own accomplishments. This inner validation is not dependent on others' approval or recognition. It comes from a place of self-love and acceptance. We recognize that we are enough just as we are, without needing to prove anything to anyone. In addition, self-reflection helps us navigate life's challenges with greater resilience. When we are connected to our own inner truth, we are less swayed by criticism, rejection, or negative feedback from others. We become more grounded in our own identity, which allows us to remain focused on our goals, even when others may not understand or support them. Self-reflection encourages us to look at failure and mistakes as opportunities for growth, rather than as sources of shame or defeat. It teaches us to be kinder to ourselves, to embrace our imperfections, and to recognize that our value is not determined by our success in the eyes of others, but by our ability to stay true to ourselves in the face of adversity. Furthermore, choosing self-reflection over external validation nurtures a deeper sense of contentment and peace. When we stop comparing ourselves to others or trying to live up to external standards, we free ourselves from the constant pressure to perform. We are able to enjoy our own journey without measuring it against anyone else's. This inner peace allows us to make decisions with clarity and confidence, knowing that we are aligned with our true selves and our personal values. We are no longer chasing after the fleeting approval of others, but instead, we find fulfillment in our own growth, progress, and self-expression. Self-reflection is not a one-time event. It is an ongoing practice that requires time, patience, and commitment. It's about making space in our lives to slow down, to listen to our inner voice, and to reflect on our thoughts, actions, and choices. In a world that constantly demands our attention and energy, self-reflection offers a chance to reconnect with our deepest selves. It empowers us to live with intention and authenticity, free from the need for external validation. When we choose self-reflection over external validation, we choose a life of greater self-awareness, self-respect, and self-love. Protecting your peace is one of the most important and often overlooked aspects of living a balanced, fulfilled life. In a world filled with constant noise, stress, and external pressures, maintaining a sense of inner calm is vital. Every day we face challenges, demands, and distractions that can disturb our mental, emotional, and physical equilibrium. If we aren't careful, we can easily lose ourselves in the chaos of life, sacrificing our peace in the process. Protecting your peace means setting boundaries, staying focused on what truly matters, and making intentional choices to preserve your well-being. The first step in protecting your peace is recognizing the things that disrupt it, whether it's toxic relationships, overwhelming work environments, or the constant barrage of information from the media, there are countless forces in the world that can threaten your peace. These external factors often demand your time, attention, and energy. And if you give in to every demand, you risk losing your inner calm. Identifying the sources of stress and negativity in your life is essential to creating a plan for protecting your peace. Once you know what's causing the disturbance, you can take the necessary steps to limit or eliminate its influence. Setting boundaries is a crucial part of protecting your peace. Boundaries are not about building walls between yourself and others, but about establishing limits on what you are willing to accept. In relationships, work, or even in social settings, it's important to communicate your needs and establish clear limits to protect your emotional and mental space. Without boundaries, it's easy to become overwhelmed by the needs of others, leaving you drained and disconnected from your own peace. Setting healthy boundaries allows you to prioritize your well-being and make decisions that align with your values and needs. Another key element in protecting your peace is learning to say no. We live in a society that often praises people for being constantly available or overly accommodating, but saying yes to everything can leave you feeling overwhelmed, exhausted, and unfulfilled. The ability to say no graciously and without guilt is a powerful tool in maintaining your peace. Saying no allows you to preserve your time, energy, and resources for the things that truly matter to you. It's about protecting your mental and emotional reserves so you can give your best self to the people and pursuits that align with your goals and values. In addition to setting boundaries and saying no, protecting your peace also involves cultivating habits that support your mental and emotional well-being. This includes practices like meditation, mindfulness, exercise, and self-care. Taking time each day to connect with yourself, to quiet your mind, and to recharge is essential to maintaining a sense of peace. Whether it's through quiet reflection, journaling, or simply taking a walk outside, engaging in activities that nourish your soul can help you stay grounded and centered no matter what external pressures may arise. Another important aspect of protecting your peace is controlling what you consume. In today's digital age, we are constantly bombarded with information, opinions, and news that can easily disrupt our mental state. Social media, news outlets, and even conversations with others can expose us to negativity, stress, and fear. It's crucial to be mindful of what you allow into your mental space. Limit your exposure to toxic or draining sources, and make intentional choices about what you consume. Curate your digital environment by following accounts and engaging with content that uplifts and inspires you, rather than fuels anxiety or negativity. By consciously choosing what to allow into your mind, you can maintain a sense of peace amidst the chaos. It's also important to recognize that protecting your peace is not about avoiding all conflict or hardship. Life will inevitably present challenges, and there will be times when you face difficult situations or emotions. However, protecting your peace means approaching these challenges with a calm and centered mindset. It's about finding resilience in the face of adversity, choosing to respond with clarity rather than react out of fear or anger. This requires self-awareness and emotional intelligence, understanding your triggers, recognizing when you're starting to feel overwhelmed, and taking proactive steps to regain control over your emotions. In the process of protecting your peace, you may encounter resistance from others. People may not understand why you're setting boundaries or saying no, and they may try to pressure you into compromising your well-being. It's important to remember that your peace is non-negotiable. While it's natural to want to please others or avoid conflict, protecting your peace should always be your top priority. In the long run, taking care of yourself allows you to show up more fully for others, to be present and supportive without being drained or depleted. Lastly, protecting your peace involves trusting yourself and trusting the process of life. It's about surrendering control over things you cannot change and focusing on what you can influence. Life will unfold as it's meant to, and sometimes the best thing you can do for your peace is to let go and trust that everything will work out in its own time. Trusting yourself and your ability to navigate life's challenges gives you the confidence to protect your inner calm no matter what may come your way. Purpose over public opinion is a powerful mindset that shifts our focus away from the fleeting judgments of others and toward the enduring clarity of our own goals, values, and direction in life. In a world where external validation often feels like the ultimate measure of success, choosing purpose over public opinion is an act of self-liberation. Instead, it is rooted in a deeper sense of calling, intention, and personal significance. One of the most significant challenges in today's world is the pressure to conform to societal expectations. From social media to workplace environments, from family dynamics to cultural norms, we are constantly told how we should look, what we should achieve, and how we should live our lives. The desire to fit in, to be liked, or to be admired by others can create a dangerous cycle of self-doubt and insecurity. We might start making decisions based on what others think is best for us, rather than what we truly want or need. When we prioritize public opinion over purpose, we risk losing sight of who we truly are. The more we base our choices on external validation, the more we dilute our authentic selves. We may begin to live lives that feel inauthentic, where we're constantly performing for others instead of creating a life that aligns with our true values and desires. Public opinion is fleeting and often unreliable. It changes with the wind, influenced by trends, moods, and the perspectives of those around us. But purpose, when anchored in your core beliefs and passions, provides a steady compass that guides you through the uncertainties of life. Choosing purpose over public opinion requires courage. It means making decisions that may not be understood or supported by others. It means standing firm in your beliefs, even when they go against the grain of popular opinion. There will be times when you have to say no to what's expected of you in order to say yes to your own path. It might involve choosing a career that is unconventional, leaving behind a relationship that no longer serves your growth, or stepping into a role that challenges you to grow and evolve in ways others might not understand. But this is the power of purpose. It gives you the strength to do what feels right for you. Purpose is a guiding light that empowers you to stay focused in the face of criticism or rejection. People will always have opinions, and many of those opinions will be shaped by their own experiences, biases, and beliefs. Not everyone will understand or appreciate the choices you make, and that's okay. When you are driven by purpose, you learn to detach your self-worth from the approval of others. You begin to see criticism as an opportunity for growth rather than a reflection of your value. In fact, often the people who criticize you are simply projecting their own insecurities or fears onto your path. Their opinions have more to do with their own experiences than with your truth. Purpose over public opinion also helps you define success on your own terms. Too often we measure success by what others think or by comparing ourselves to societal benchmarks, whether that's accumulating wealth, gaining fame, or achieving a particular status. But when you embrace purpose, success becomes something far more personal. It's about living authentically, contributing meaningfully, and making choices that align with who you are at your core. It's not about meeting external expectations. It's about fulfilling your own sense of purpose, which may look different from the conventional measures of success. Living with purpose over public opinion also brings greater peace. The more you align with your own purpose, the less you feel the need to seek approval or recognition from others. There is freedom in knowing that your life is guided by your values, not by the fleeting opinions of others. Instead of constantly chasing after external rewards or validation, you become more attuned to the satisfaction that comes from living in alignment with your true self. This sense of inner peace allows you to make decisions with clarity and confidence, knowing that you are on the right path, even when others may question it. Finally, choosing purpose over public opinion leads to a deeper sense of fulfillment. Public opinion can be loud and overwhelming, but it often lacks depth. It focuses on surface-level judgments that do not reflect the complexity and richness of who we are. Purpose, on the other hand, is deeply fulfilling because it speaks to the core of our being. When you choose purpose over public opinion, you stop seeking external rewards and start experiencing true fulfillment. You begin to see that the journey itself, the process of living authentically and staying true to your purpose, is the ultimate reward. The applause of others may be temporary, but the sense of satisfaction that comes from fulfilling your own purpose lasts a lifetime.